Imagine paying like massive premium, sacrificing your free time, and just dedicating your entire life to someone whose only job description is to completely dismantle your sense of identity.
Right, just tear it all down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Their entire role is to point out every single flaw in your logic, strip away your comfort, and, refuse to let you settle for easy answers.
It sounds like an absolute nightmare, honestly.
It really does.
No.
But in ancient traditions, finding someone capable of doing exactly that to you was considered the ultimate privilege. Welcome to the deep dive.
Thanks for having me.
We are taking a really fascinating and I'd say provocative look into the teachings of Guru SivaYogi today, pulling from recent transcript of his discourses.
It's some incredibly heavy material.
It is. Our mission today is to completely upend what you might think the guru-disciple relationship actually looks like. We're tearing down that pop culture image of the quiet, submissive follower to reveal why genuine spiritual awakening actually demands rigorous, almost rebellious questioning.
Yeah, that image of the submissive follower is it's so deeply ingrained in us.
Oh, absolutely.
We're totally conditioned to picture a disciple as like a blank slate, someone who sits quietly at the master's feet, never speaks out of turn, and just absorbs whatever wisdom is handed down without a single second thought.
Like a sponge.
Exactly. But to understand Sivayogi's perspective, we really have to look at the actual root of the concept. He uses the Tamil word sidan for disciple.
Okay, and what does that actually mean?
Well, historically, the root of that term doesn't imply passive obedience at all. It actually points to someone who is in active pursuit of something excellent or extraordinary.
Oh, wow. So it's an active word.
Very active. A true disciple is fundamentally burdened by profound, inescapable questions. They are walking around haunted by thoughts like, what created me? Why am I forced to live under these specific societal rules?
What is the actual mechanism driving my existence?
Yes, exactly that.
Which means the baseline requirement for discipleship isn't peace. It's friction.
That's a great way to put it, friction.
I'm thinking about the difference between a high school student trying to pass a multiple choice test and a career scientist who is just obsessed with curing a disease.
Oh, that's a brilliant analogy.
Right, because the student just wants the grade. They want the social approval, the certificate, the easiest path to the finish line. So they just memorize the facts without caring what they actually mean.
Right, there's no real internal drive there.
Exactly. But the obsessed scientist has this burning agitation inside them. They're tormented by the unknown. They can't sleep because the pieces of the puzzle don't fit together yet.
And that internal torment is the absolute prerequisite for the journey. SivaYogi argues that if you are perfectly comfortable in your life,
Like if everything is just fine.
yeah, if you're satisfied with your daily routines, your societal conditioning, and the answers your culture has handed you, you simply do not qualify to be a disciple.
You don't even qualify.
No, because you have no engine driving you forward. What happens in most spiritual circles today is that a sincere question is treated as a sign of disrespect.
Right, it's viewed as a challenge to authority, like, how dare you question me?
Exactly. But SivaYogi flips that completely. He states that questioning is actually the primary sign of intelligence. It proves that the engine is running.
But wait, let's unpack this a bit. Because the archetype we see in movies, and frankly in a lot of modern spiritual communities, is that you are supposed to surrender your logic at the door.
Oh, yeah. Just trust the universe.
Right, you're supposed to trust the process blindly. If you ask too many questions, you're in your ego.
And that is the exact cultural conditioning being challenged here in the sources. Because if a true disciple must be full of rebellious, burning questions, then we have to examine the other side of the equation, right? The guru.
How the guru responds to the friction.
Exactly. A genuine guru's only purpose is to destroy the disciple's confusion, and that requires engagement. If a teacher demands blind obedience or refuses to allow questions or gets offended when their logic is challenged,
Then they aren't a real guru.
no. They are just a dictator wearing robes.
Which honestly brings us to the critique of the modern spiritual marketplace. Because the source material points out that many contemporary figures are essentially just running a highly optimized business.
Yeah, they are selling a feeling.
They are selling comfort, right? A false guru will tell people exactly what they want to hear. They look at the contradictions and the anxieties in society, and instead of dismantling them, they validate them.
Which is brilliant from a business perspective.
Oh, entirely. They provide a soothing, temporary balm because keeping people slightly confused but very comfortable ensures repeat customers.
It is a totally lucrative model that relies on keeping followers completely dependent.
I see this constantly with like what we could call online
No,
spirituality.
definitely. It's everywhere.
Someone watches a series of really aesthetic videos, reads a few profound quotes on social media, never actually meets the speaker, and suddenly declares, "This is my guru."
And there is zero friction there. It's entirely one-sided.
It's like watching a master carpenter build a house on video, buying all the exact same tools and assuming you can now build a mansion.
Right. You have the hammer and the nails.
But without someone standing next to you saying, hey, your grip is wrong, you're going to break your wrist, you are just dangerous to yourself.
And that lack of correction is the fatal flaw in borrowed knowledge. In a genuine guru-disciple dynamic, the guru actively monitors the student.
They're watching you work.
Exactly. They are tailoring the teachings to the disciple's highly specific, deeply personal flaws. An online video cannot see your ego reacting to something.
A book can't tell when you're lying to yourself.
No, it can't. If you only consume content, you can easily nod along and feel enlightened. Oh, yes, I am so peaceful. But the moment real-world tragedy or conflict hits,
That borrowed knowledge just shatters.
completely shatters because it was never tested against your actual psychological defenses.
So the disciple has to be in the room, and they have to be a skeptic. They have to demand answers to that burning existential dread. But does that mean the relationship is just an endless debate? I mean, a disciple who just argues with the guru forever doesn't sound like they're learning anything. They just sound like they want to hear themselves talk.
That's a really crucial point. Endless argument is just another defense mechanism of the ego. There is a non-negotiable pivot point in this dynamic.
A pivot point.
Yeah, you have to move from total skepticism to total surrender. The source material uses a really brilliant, grounded analogy to explain this mechanism. It compares it to joining a boxing class.
Oh, I love how practical this is.
Yeah.
So before you hand over your money to a boxing gym, you have every right to interrogate the coach.
Absolutely. You should ask about their credentials, who they have trained, what their specific methodology is. You are the investigator.
You are protecting your investment.
Right. But the second you sign that contract and step onto the mat as their student, the dynamic shifts entirely. You can't suddenly refuse to do the jump rope because you don't feel like it today.
You cannot negotiate the workout.
Exactly. You can't demand a gold-handled jump rope instead of the frayed plastic one they hand you. You commit to doing the grueling, unglamorous work exactly as the coach prescribes it.
Furthermore, you can't walk into that boxing gym and demand the coach teach you how to swim.
Right.
You must accept the specific training they offer in the exact manner they deliver it.
The initial questioning was just to establish trust. Once you verify the authenticity, once you realize this person actually possesses the tools to destroy your confusion, your ego has to step aside.
If you keep arguing after you've committed, you aren't seeking truth anymore. You're just trying to escape the cardia.
Exactly. And that is where we arrive at the necessity of the guru's strictness. To understand why a guru cannot be lenient, we have to look at how the human mind creates suffering in the first place.
Okay, let's get into this.
SivaYogi points out a profound concept here. He says that God's creation, the universe itself, contains absolutely no contradictions.
That's a massive claim. No contradictions at all.
None. Think about the mechanics of the natural world. Gravity functions consistently. The sun rises, life cycles process, chemistry reacts. The universe simply is.
Right.
Contradictions only exist within human understanding. They are entirely manufactured by our own minds.
We invent the chaos.
We totally do.
For example, a person might desperately want to be universally loved and perceived as this kind, peaceful person. But that same person might also harbor a deep, aggressive desire to dominate their coworkers and achieve massive status.
And those two desires cannot coexist.
Right. The mind holds both simultaneously, which creates massive internal friction and anxiety.
And then that person goes to a guru to fix their anxiety. If the guru is a false teacher peddling comfort, they will just give the person a breathing technique to calm down.
Which allows them to keep both the desire for peace and the desire for domination.
Exactly. The contradiction remains totally intact.
The disease is still there. You basically just took a painkiller.
Yes. But a true guru, acting like that demanding boxing coach, uses strictness to forcefully break down those false certainties. They attack the contradiction itself.
They force the disciple to see that they cannot hold on to both illusions.
Right. The guru isn't being harsh for the sake of cruelty. They are being strict to force the disciple's mind into alignment with reality. If they let you negotiate which illusions you get to keep, you would never achieve clarity.
Which explains why so many people actively avoid this path. If genuine discipleship is this surgical, this demanding, and this profoundly uncomfortable, it makes perfect sense why the default human behavior is just blind following.
The alternative is the deep, seductive comfort of cultural and religious conditioning. It is infinitely easier to change your outward appearance than to change your internal architecture.
It's like painting a car that has a completely blown engine.
That's a great image.
You can give it a fresh coat of red paint, you can polish the chrome, you can sit in the driver's seat feeling like a race car driver. But the second you step on the gas, you realize you are still permanently stuck in the driveway.
Yeah, the outward aesthetic changed, but the internal mechanism driving the machine is still totally broken.
People constantly confuse that fresh coat of paint with true spiritual awakening. The sources discuss this explicitly.
They do. Someone might suddenly adopt a strict vegetarian diet out of religious guilt, or they might start wearing specific traditional robes, and they declare themselves spiritually advanced.
Right, checking the boxes.
But real spirituality has absolutely nothing to do with switching outward labels. It is solely about inner clarity.
And when a true seeker, someone actually trying to fix the engine rather than paint the car, starts asking mechanical questions about those outward habits, things get volatile.
Oh, they face immense backlash from their own families and societies. The sources highlight this by examining specific cultural traditions, like take the practice of Amavasya.
The new moon day.
Right, where some traditions dictate offering a plate of food to a photograph of a deceased ancestor.
A tradition done by millions of people without a second thought.
Exactly. But the true disciple, burdened by that need for logic we talked about earlier, looks at that practice and asks the forbidden question.
Wait, why are we doing this?
Yeah. Does the photograph possess a digestive tract? Does the paper eat the food?
And that is the kind of question that ruins a family dinner.
Totally ruins it.
Because you aren't just questioning the food. You are questioning the foundational authority of the elders in the room. You're questioning the entire structure.
And the resistance gets even stronger when you apply this logic to religious myths. The text provides a fascinating breakdown of how literalism traps the mind, using the deity Ganesha as an example.
Okay, Ganesha, the figure with the human body and the elephant head.
Right. If you approach that myth literally, you are forced into blind belief. You have to shut down your critical thinking to accept that a literal, biological elephant head was somehow placed on a human neck.
Which creates that internal contradiction we were talking about.
Exactly. But SivaYogi unpacks the profound metaphor hidden beneath the literal story. He explains that it is actually a map of the 5 elements.
The building blocks of reality. Earth, water, fire, and air.
Yes. Those 4 elements are represented by the 4 limbs of the human body. And then the trunk of the elephant, which is the 5th limb, represents the 5th element, ether, or space.
Oh, wow.
The trunk merges with the head and the body, symbolizing how space encompasses and binds the other 4 elements together. Suddenly, a myth that required you to suspend your disbelief transforms into a sophisticated metaphysical teaching about the very nature of reality.
That completely changes the mechanism of belief. If you take it literally, you are stuck defending a biological impossibility, which just makes you defensive and rigid.
Right.
But if you understand the metaphor, you gain a tool for actually understanding the universe.
But, I mean, if you try to explain that metaphor to a crowd of people who have based their entire identity on the literal interpretation,
You become an immediate threat to them. Society functions on conformity. It relies heavily on people agreeing to the same shared illusions, so the cultural machine can run without friction.
so genuine spiritual inquiry is the ultimate threat to that structure. It is, because a person who is free from internal contradiction cannot be manipulated. If you aren't terrified of questioning your own beliefs, a marketer cannot sell you fear, and a false guru cannot sell you comfort.
You become completely immune to this societal machinery.
And that immunity is the profound freedom that SivaYogi's teachings point toward. The ultimate universal truth isn't about checking a cosmic attendance sheet. God, or the universe, does not care about the specific rituals you perform, the fabric of the clothes you wear, your dietary restrictions, or your standing in the community.
None of that fixes the engine.
None of it. True wisdom is not locked behind a specific cultural door or a secret language. It is universally accessible to absolutely anyone.
But the price of admission is high.
It is. The price is the willingness to do the terrifying work of looking inward, dropping your defenses, and ruthlessly questioning the chaotic contradictions of your own mind.
Let's bring all this directly to you listening right now. A true disciple does not collect beliefs the way someone collects souvenirs. They relentlessly seek mechanical understanding. A genuine guru does not demand your submissive silence. They require your deepest, most rebellious doubts, because that friction is the only tool sharp enough to awaken your clarity.
But once you find that clarity, once you verify the teacher's method, your ego's job is done. You have to pick up the plastic jump rope and do the grueling work.
The entire process is a journey from radical, uncompromising skepticism to radical, unshakable trust.
That's the pivot.
We want to ask you to audit your own life today. Look at the gurus you follow. And remember, that doesn't have to be a person in a temple.
Right, could be anything.
Your guru could be a political ideology you blindly defend online, a corporate mentor whose logic you never question, or even just a societal expectation about the timeline of your life.
Mhm.
When to marry, when to buy a house, what success looks like.
Are you following these paths without ever asking the hard, mechanical questions?
Are you settling for the warm, fuzzy comfort of the crowd? Because it's easier than doing the lonely work of seeking your own truth.
Do you feel perfectly comfortable, or do you feel that profound inner friction?
Because if you feel that friction, if you feel that torment of the unknown, that is not a flaw. That is the engine starting. You might just have what it takes to be a true seeker.
The friction is the beginning.
We want to leave you with one final, lingering concept to mull over today. We discussed how the universe itself contains no actual contradictions, that all conflicts exist entirely within our own psychology.
A really powerful thought.
So, look at your life. What is one impossible contradiction you are dealing with right now? What is a situation causing you massive draining stress that might not be an external problem at all, but simply a misunderstanding in your own mind waiting to be unlearned? Think about it. Are you going to sit quietly at the feet of your problems, or are you ready to courageously seek the truth?